FP Movement, a branch of Free People that sells activewear, used to be more associated with brunching than with pushing the limits of sports. Then star Sloane Stephens signed with the brand instead of renewing her contract with Nike. Stephens, who won the 2017 US Open, is the latest top athlete to turn down what seemed like a dream deal with a big name in activewear.
Wimbledon was my first tournament back.
Wimbledon was the first. You come out, you win the US Open, you beat in the finals.
But sports fans who follow the company closely may know that Nike is having trouble with, among other things, how it treats the women athletes on its team. American sprinter Allison Felix, who is one of the most decorated track and field athletes in history, told the public in 2019 that Nike put pressure on her to get back into record-setting shape as soon as possible after she had an emergency C-section the year before. Nike was only willing to pay Felix 30% of what she was making before she got pregnant when they renegotiated her contract. She wrote, "I asked Nike to put it in writing that I wouldn't be punished if I didn't do my best in the months before giving birth." Nike declined Felix's request. After a lot of people complained, the company changed its policy on maternity leave in August of 2019. By that time, Felix had signed a deal with Athleta, which is owned by Gap. She was the first athlete that Athleta sponsored. Simone Biles, a powerful gymnast, did the same thing 2 years later. Biles told the Wall Street Journal that her new sponsor, Athleta, wasn't just interested in how well she did. It was what I stood for and how they're gonna help me use my voice. Soon after, Biles made her own workout and athleisure lines for Athleta. The company helped her get money for a gymnastics tour after the Tokyo 2020 Summer Olympics. The deal also let her stop depending on USA Gymnastics, the disgraced organization that used to run the sport. Creative input, resources, and enthusiasm to help athletes as people seem to show a shift towards brands with slightly less name recognition, but which can give more individual attention. This is a very important part of how money works in women's sports. Both Business of Fashion and the New York Times have said that women athletes tend to have bigger online and offline fan bases than men. Smaller brands may be more willing to support the causes and projects that athletes care about, like Athleta and Felix's grant program to help women athletes who are also mothers and caregivers pay for childcare. It's important for brands to show up and pay their ambassadors. Think about the financial benefits. In 2021, Lululemon reported a 63% increase in sales in the US and a 49% increase in sales internationally. They didn't stand alone. In that year, the global market for athleisure was worth about $307 billion, and it was expected to grow by 8.9% each year. This momentum could be felt in real time, and brands that don't usually work with athletes and sports fans were looking for ways to connect with the world of sports. Colleen Quigley, an Olympic steeplechaser, switched sponsorships from Nike to Lululemon in 2021. Nikki Neuberger, the chief brand officer for Lululemon, told the New York Times that sponsorship deals change with the times. Winning and performing at a very high level still gets you a lot of respect and attention. What has changed over time is not what inspires people. They want to hear about the ups and downs of the journey to get there, and they want to know what you do when you're not racing. Naomi Osaka may be the best person to show this. The young tennis star, who was sponsored by Nike, got ahead of the game in 2020 with working a Dean founder and creative director Hanako Maeda before the Tokyo 2020 Summer Olympics. Then came partnerships that broke new ground with Levi's and Louis Vuitton. As an ambassador for Louis Vuitton, she wore a couture outfit from the fashion house when she co-chaired the Met Gala in 2021, a position with a lot of cultural weight. Osaka's story is an interesting case study of how women athletes have become mega influencers, and it shows how powerful their devoted fan bases can be. Tracksmith, which has been in the activewear business for only 10 years, has found its own niche by helping the hundreds of high-performing amateur track and field and road racing athletes who compete at the Olympic trials but don't yet have sponsors. Some of these athletes go on to make Team USA. At the trials for the 2020 Olympic Marathon, 138 competitors, or 20% of the field, took advantage of the brand's offer of free competition kits. Tracksmith's presence at the 2020 Olympic Marathon trials was the start of the company's amateur support program, ASP. The ASP gives selected athletes a gear stipend, a racing kit, and support at marquee events like the with trials or other competitions that call for the best athletes in the country. The program also puts the independent brand's products in front of a niche group of running fans who spend more than $1,100 a year on running-related expenses. We think it's great when athletes get better. Some of these athletes went to the Olympics, and some of them had the chance to sign deals with other shoe brands that paid more. Willis says, "We've done it. Our goal is to fill this gap between college and the professional world for athletes. For every pro sponsorship or support program, smaller brands can stand out in a market that is getting more and more crowded. They can show engaged fans with money to spend that their gear is good enough for the pros and the underdogs who are trying to beat them to the podium." It seems Nike isn't the only brand losing athletes. Simone Biles and telehealth provider Cerebral have ended their endorsement deal, the company said. The 25-year-old Olympic champion used her own experience with mental health to promote the controversial mental health startup. Biles became Cerebral's chief impact officer 3 months after she suddenly dropped out of individual competition at the Tokyo Olympics in 2021, saying she was not in the right headspace to compete. The athlete, who won 4 gold medals and a bronze medal at her first Olympics in 2016, was then contacted by Cerebral about a partnership with Biles' own mental health advocacy platform. The deal's terms were never made public. 7 months ago, federal investigators sent a subpoena to Cerebral about how it prescribed controlled substances like the amphetamine Adderall and other stimulants used to treat attention deficit hyperactive disorder, or ADHD. This is why Biles and Cerebral are no longer working together. Nurse practitioners at Cerebral have said that after a 30-minute evaluation, the company made them feel like they had to write prescriptions for stimulants. Later, the major pharmacy chains CVS and Walmart said they would no longer fill controlled prescription drugs for the company. In a fight with Cerebral's board, the company got rid of its founder and CEO, Kyle Robertson. A leaked memo said that Robertson's focus on getting more doctors to prescribe Cerebral made the market think of Cerebral as a pill mill. Cerebral says it hasn't been accused of breaking any laws and is helping investigators find out what happened. In her ads, Biles said that until she found Cerebral, she didn't know how to deal with her anxiety. She said, "Cerebral is a tailored solution to your mental health needs. Help is available for anxiety, depression, ADHD, insomnia, and other problems." The split between Biles and Cerebral is similar to the problems that celebrities face when they promote companies that have problems. In the past few weeks, Tom Brady and supermodel Gisele Bündchen were linked to the now defunct cryptocurrency exchange FTX, and Kim Kardashian was linked to Balenciaga, which was recently accused of promoting child abuse in an ad campaign that was criticized.